attendance, my lady, Cullen said. Splendid, Captain. Have you seen Nevyn yet? I haven't, my lady. It would be like him to just stay away. He does so hate crowds and such like. But if you do see him, tell him to come sit with me. Cullen rose, bowed, and returned to his men. From his seat he could see the honour table, and while he sipped his ale, he studied the bride at this wedding, Lady Donilla, a beautiful woman with a mane of chestnut hair, clasped back like a maiden's now for the formality of the thing. Cullen felt profoundly sorry for her, because her first husband, Lord Rhodry of Aberwyn, had recently cast her off for being barren. If Nevyn hadn't found her a husband, she would have had to return to her brother's dun in shame. As it was, her new man, Lord Gareth, was a decent-looking fellow some years older than she, with grey in his blonde hair and a thick moustache. From what the men in the warband said, he was an honourable man, soft-spoken in peace, and utterly ruthless in war. He was also a widower with a pack of children, and thus more than glad to take a beautiful young wife, barren or not. "Gareth looks honestly besotted with her, doesn't he?" Nevyn remarked. With a yelp, Cullen turned to find the old man grinning at him. For all of Nevyn's white hair and a face as lined as an old leather sack, he had all the vigour and stamina of a young lad, and he stood there straight-backed, his hands on his hips. "Didn't mean to startle you," he said with a sly grin. "Here, I never saw you come in. You weren't looking my way, that's all. I didn't turn myself invisible, although I'll admit to having a bit of a jest on you. And I took the bait sure enough. The tyrant wants you to come sit with her." "At the honour table? What a blasted nuisance. It's a good thing I put on a clean shirt." Cullen laughed. Usually Nevyn dressed like a farmer in shabby brown clothes, but today he'd actually put on a white shirt with Levian's red lion blazon at the yokes, and a pair of patched but respectable grey brigger. Still, he looked like a shabby townsman or maybe a minor servitor, anything but what he was, the most powerful master of the Dweomer in the entire kingdom. "Before you go," Cullen said, "have you had any, news of my Jill?" "News? Why don't you say the word scrying right out? You'll have to get used to sorcery sooner or later, Captain. Here, come along." They made their way over to the servants' hearth, where an entire hog crackled, roasting on a spit so large that it took 2 kitchen boys to turn it. For a moment Nevyn stared intently into the flames. "I see Jill and her Rhodry looking in good spirits," he said at last. "They're walking through a town on a nice sunny day, going up to a shop of some sort. Wait, I know the place. It's Otho the silversmith's in Dunmanannon, but he doesn't seem to be in at the moment." "I don't suppose you can tell if she's with child?" "She's not showing the baby if she is. I can understand your concern." "Well, it's bound to happen sooner or later. I just hope she has the wit to ride home when it does." "She's never lacked for wit." Although Cullen agreed, worry ate at him. Jill was his only child. "I just hope they have enough coin for the winter," the captain remarked. "Well, we gave them plenty between us, if Rhodry doesn't drink it all away, anyway." "Oh, Jill won't let him do that. My lass is as tight as an old farm wife with every cursed copper." He allowed himself a brief smile. "She knows the long road well." Because the mattress was full of bedbugs, Rhodry Malwith, formerly heir to Dun Gwerbin, sat on the floor of the tiny inn-chamber. Nearby, Jill sat in the light from the one tiny window. She was dressed in a pair of dirty blue brigger and a lad's plain linen overshirt, and her golden hair was cropped short like a lad's too. But she was so beautiful, with her wide blue eyes, delicate features and soft mouth, that he loved simply looking at her. Frowning in concentration, she was mending a rip in his only shirt.
"Ah, by the black hairy ass of the Lord of Hell!" she snarled. "This'll just have to do. I hate sewing."
"You have my humble thanks for lowering yourself enough to mend my clothes." With another snarl, she threw the shirt into his face. Laughing, he shook it out, once white linen stained with sweat and rust as well from his mail. On the yokes were embroidered the blazons of the Red Lion, all that he had left of his old life. But a month earlier, his brother, Lord Rhodry of Aberwyn, had sent him into exile,